Rabari, a pastoral nomad historically known as camel herders, claimed Jaisalmer and Marwad in Rajasthan as their homeland. But the historical turbulence of invasion and conflicts in the region, which began in the 7th century CE, led them to flee by the 11th century. They began to live in diverse geographical regions till the end of the 15th century. The wave of dispersal in the later phases through political division of the nation states and natural catastrophe had greatly impacted their traditional lifestyle, segmenting them into a distinct subgroup at different regions. Although these changes brought by their historical dispersal, they still retain their traditional cultural identity, continuing various archaic elements of their past culture. Presently, Rabaris in India are largely distributed in Kutch, Saurashtra and North Gujarat regions of the Gujarat State and some part of Rajasthan. The object on display talks about the role of women in the socio-economic life of the Rabari people. Moreover, the object also makes us to remember the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who used charkha as one of the most significant unifying elements of the nationalist movement in India. Rabari, being the herders, produce raw materials of wools from the sheep they rear. The profound use of wool obtained from the animal is deeply linked with their mode of adaptation in the desert environment. The woolen fabric would help them to adjust the rough, spiky vegetations of the environment and also act as a good padding against the diurnal range of temperature in the desert. Traditionally, spinning of raw wool was performed with rudimentary spindle resembling a top, which is still used by the male folk in their long hours of pastures. With the accessibility of spinning wheel, they could perform the work faster and yield more production of raw woolen threads. Moreover, the possession of a splendid wooden spinning device in the parched desert where wooden articles are very rare, it would have been possibly a pride possession of the family in the olden past. The Retio is a local term of charkha, spinning wheel, used by the Rabari community for spinning thread or yarn from raw woolen fiber or cotton balls. It consists of a pair of identical drive wheel fastened along with iron rings and fitted through an axle along the two vertical wooden frames. One end of the axle bears a long handle to rotate the wheel. The edge of wheel consists of uniform grooves to tie both the wheel with threads in a cross pattern so that a drive band can be fastened and looped at the rear end where spindle is attached. At the time of spinning, the fiber is tied on the spindle and by rotating the wheel, it is spun into threads. Traditionally, from production of raw wool, spinning to form a thread, weaving, stitching or tailoring into dress, dyeing and finally shaping into the Rabari dress, the cycle is completed with many occupational hands of the surrounding key communities. Among them, some are expert weavers, while some are dyers and dressmakers. When the cloth comes to the hands of Rabari women, it finally turns into a true Rabari dress with skillful works of embroidery and applique embellishments.